Started off as nah, just kidding. Like when I was younger, me and my buddy just always be like nah, nah, and then I.
So he'd say something like, you know, I hope your mom better.
Oh, okay.
And then the nah meant don't hit me, I'm kidding.
Right.
So that negated whatever
so,
came
yeah,
before.
the other earlier it was like this when he turned around and stared at me.
Yeah.
Captain America. I was like nah.
And he did not nah back.
I don't know what that means. That's hot. But it was that, and then it sort of just changed and went from nah to nooch to snooch, and then
Wow.
It was weird. It was
Okay.
like watching language grow.
Yeah.
It was simple. It was just net or net. And then it was nine, and then noich, and then snooch,
Yeah.
and then snooch, snooch, and snoogans, and then it would go long like sneaky, diggy, noich, noich. Suddenly the disclaimer at the end of the comment would be longer than the comment itself.
Yeah.
It would be like, you're gay. Sneaky, diggy, noich, noich, Am I or not? I'm confused. Did you just put a spell on me?
That kind of sounded gay,
sing-song
you know, so I'm not even sure, you know.
Totally.
That's awesome. And then the other question that people want to know about was, you've talked about it, the situation directing Cop Out with Bruce Willis. Everybody kind of was like, dude, ask him about this. What happened with Bruce Willis?
He was, we didn't really get along that well. Honestly, it came down to, I don't think he respected me a lick.
Yeah.
I think, like, basically once that we started working together, he was just like, this is the guy in charge. You know, with that Bruce Willis.
Right.
But he was trying. That was kind of the weirdest directing gig I ever had, because like he wouldn't be directed.
But
He just didn't want to be directed. Like, you know, to his credit, he's like, I've been doing this 25 years. You know, I know how to backfight Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's weird. I've never been on a set where you can't
Just no direction?
well, you can't communicate with an actor. That's strange. You know, it was weird. But it did mean that there were, you know, the few moments that we did kind of connect were like big breakthroughs, you know, almost like in one of those movies where it's just like Officer and a Gentleman.
Yeah.
Like he was like Lou Gossett and I was like Richard.
I got no place else to go.
Totally. I was always crying. Please stop yelling at me.
Bruce Willis. Give me a deal off.
Man, he was. I don't know. It was definitely a learning experience.
Is there something to like the big giant studio movies as compared? Because your voice is very unique.
Yeah.
And so when you go in there to try and direct these big giant studio movies, is it tougher or?
I just think he's used to making movies one way, and I'm used to making movies a very different way.
Right.
I'm way into it, and I like being there. Like every day you're on a movie set, you're like, I can't believe this is our job.
Right?
I worked in a real job, like back in the day, and it sucked. So this is nice. Like the fact that we come and make pretend for a living.
Yeah.
I don't care how many years you've been doing it, a quarter of a century or not. That's a blessed thing, an amazing thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
To have the temerity to show up every day when you're the highest paid person on that set, and granted, maybe it's not like the payday you're used to getting, but it's still pretty hefty. You should show up every day with like, hey, how's it? As far as I'm concerned, you should bring donuts for everybody.
Hell yeah.
If you're not going to bring donuts, at least show up to play. At least be supportive. At least don't be a hurdle that we all got to get over to do the job that we all came here to do. And the sad thing was, all of us took that job, took huge pay cuts, just because we wanted to work with him. That was the heartbreaking thing. It's just like, dude, I literally I took an 83% or 88% pay cut from Zach and Miri to do Cop Out. Now, to be fair, like the money I got paid is more money than a person should be paid to sit there and be like, action. And on the other movies, I usually get paid more because I write the script as well.
Right.
So, but on this, I was just like, they were like, this is all this job could ever pay because we're keeping the budgets of this.
Yeah.
And I said, dude, I'd do it for free. I don't care. Like, this is an awesome chance to work with direct Bruce Willis because I'd worked with him on Live Free or Die as an actor, and I thought we got along. So I was just like, hey, man, I can direct him, and he's from Jersey originally, Penn Pride of Friends Grove. And so you go there, and then you figure out pretty quickly, by day 2, like the mask slips, and it was kind of like, this is who I am. You want to deal with this for the next month? And I was like, I guess.
Talk about how he pushed you around, like he'd come to set and slap you in the face and bump chest me in.
He did. He belly bumped me, go, come on!
Oh my God!
That would have been awesome because I would have had somebody with a flip camera and like just shoot this.
Payday.
Totally. I'd be leaning into him with my chin, saying really insulting things. But it wasn't that. He was just, you know what he was like? He was like, I've never had this father. I had a very kind father, kind of supportive. He was never like, you could be anything you want to be, son. He wasn't that guy because he worked at the post office, so he was like, life sucks. Get a better job than I had. And that was enough inspiration.
Sure.
But Willis reminds on set, reminded me, and in this instance, who knows what he's like on other movies, reminded me of that angry father you hear so many people talk about on talk shows or, you know, interview shows where they're just like, nothing I ever did was good enough. I couldn't please this man. Kind of fun, yeah? You know the feeling?
Costa's tearing up.
That's why he wears that shirt.
Yeah, seriously.
It's true.
We'll take you home to meet the great Santini.
Oh, that's what it is, dude.
It is.
He's like, what are you, a little girl?
Yes.
Rub some dirt on it.
And I'm not that dude. I'm not a macho guy at all. I don't have any testosterone. I'm all estrogen. I got boobs. So I'm not the guy that gets onto a set and I'm like, let's go. I'm the alpha male. I'm like,
you're not Michael Bay.
Oh God. I'm like, it's your world. And like, all I'm trying to do is the job I've been tasked with, which is making this all come together. So if you want to be the dude who's like, I don't do this thing, fine, be that guy. Yeah. We're going to be over here making the movie. The good news about that was Tracy Morgan came loaded for bear. So aside from doing the movie we were making, awesome. He was doing 8 different other movies. Time right there on the set. He just over delivers. Yeah. So it all kind of balanced out, but it was just disappointing.
Because I love that.
I like the movies actually. Because some people
he loves it.
It's a fun flick.
It's on HBO right now. Yeah. I just DVR and I'll rewatch it because
Tracy makes
between you and Tracy Morgan, I'm going, dude, I can't lose in this. So when
a lot of people did not agree with that. A lot of critics were like, we all lost. But there's some funny stuff, man. There is one scene in that movie that I'm as proud of as I am of anything in like the early stuff. It is one scene, but it's a pure comedic beat that plays so cinematically well that owes so much to cartoons. And it's when they're stopped in the car and he's doing a knock-knock joke. It's so simple and stupid. But I don't know. I watched that scene and I'm like, thank God it was in a Warner Brothers movie because it plays like Bugs Bunny. Yeah. And Daffy Duck. And that's who Sean William Scott was kind of going for, like a human Bugs Bunny. And it's weird because Tracy is kind of the human Bugs Bunny the whole movie until Sean gets in, and then Tracy becomes the Daffy Duck.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Isn't he? But that's way more. I probably overthought that movie way more than anybody else has. But there's funny stuff in it and whatnot. But that was the first time that I ever directed for hire, where it's not your script and you can't I could definitely make suggestions and stuff, but it's somebody else's script that you're being paid to realize. So, everyone was really, really helpful.
But it was an experience, right? I mean, you
had
to do
learning experience, and it taught me, honestly, one of the most important lessons of my life, because I'm done here. I'm out of filmmaking. Like, this is it. Like, this is the pinnacle. This is where you aim to get to work with somebody who's like, somebody you respect, whose work you've respected all your life and stuff, huge movie star. And you meet them, and you're just, it is what it is. And you're like, I don't even want to be in this business. If this is what it's like, if this is what the most successful people are like. This man, 25 years in this business, blessed, a quarter of a century, essentially paid to be himself in movies. Yes, he's an actor, but he's a persona as well. Yeah. Smile, bitch. Yeah. Smile from ear to ear like the Joker. Every day of your life is a blessing. And still, you work with some of these cats that just grouse. Just sit there like, ugh. It's so hard to make pretend for a living. Like, I wanted to know you in kindergarten. Yeah. And see if you felt this.
For real.
Yeah. So stuff like that will put you on a different path. Like that was one of the reasons I was like, you know what, I'm transitioning to podcasting.
I heard that you said that, I'm pretty much done.
I got one flick left in this hockey movie called Hit Somebody next. Okay. And that to me is kind of like my thesis film, and it'll tie up. It's based on this Warren Zevon, so it'll tie up everything I've learned in film. Everything I've learned over the last 20 years I'm going to put to use in this one movie. And that to me is the end. Like, when you're in college, you do your thesis or whatever, and that's meant to be like, this is everything I've learned, everybody. Same thing with this. So Hit Somebody, I'm going to put everything I've learned over 2 decades into it, and then just kind of push back.
Honestly, that's kind of a bummer to hear, because I'm a huge fan of this.
It's good for me, though, because it just means I can try.
But we don't care about what's good for you.
I appreciate it.
We just really want you to entertain us.
Fair enough. I'm going to keep doing it, and now I found a way to do it for free. Like with the movies, you have to pay for it.
Sure.
Even, unless BitTorrent. But then you got to pay for a computer to get to it, I guess. But technically, there's always a charge involved. Pay to see the movie, pay to get the DVD, pay to download or something. With the podcast, man, what I love about Smartcast.com, it's just free. Yeah. We sit there and do it
Still need a computer,
for free.
Though.
That's true.
Good point.
Way to harsh my buzz.
But you know where?
I was on a roll, and you're like, he's lying. You need things.
Not the live shows. You don't need a computer.
Oh, look at the pluggy.
Friday.
Dude, let's talk about it.
Well, we've got. Look, we're down here for Comic Con, of course. Comic Con. I always get yelled at for saying Comic Con, but that's how I say it.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, it's Comic Con. I'm like, no, it's Comic Con.
Comic Con.
Yeah, so all the Reds hang out. But today's our first day here, and we're kicking it off by doing a Q&A with K&J for Zach Levi's guy plays Chuck. He's got this thing at the con this year called the Nerd HQ. He does this website called the Nerd Machine. Okay. He's very into nerdy things. Nice guy. Hell of an interview. We had him on our show. Oh, he's
Ashley, our girl in there, has interviewed him.
He's so good and charming and stuff. Anyway, he said we're doing this thing for Operation Smile. It's for kids with like cleft palates and hair lips. And stuff.
Oh yeah.
Where they're doing, essentially you go to San Diego Comic Con, you get in the building, there's panels galore. They're like off-site across the street. I think a place called Jolt and Joe's is where they've set up.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, that place. Sure. And essentially all week long, or all for the con long, they're doing mini Q&As. Only about 100, 150 people or something fit in there, and all the money goes to Operation Smile or something like that. It's kind of neat. So normally I'd be like, hey man, go to the con and you'll see us any number of places, but honestly, like I do my Hall H panel on Saturday night, and that's
just gigantic
cluster at
it
is tough getting into it. Me and him this morning, like you're gonna be able to spit at us. We're gonna be so close.
Nice.
So that's kind of the move. I think if you're listening and you're like, I'm gonna go see those fools this week, go this morning because the room ain't going to be busy at all. Like, that's the place to go to. But the next big show we got, the one we've been organizing for a month, is Friday night down here at the House of Blues. Right. We're doing Hollywood Babylon, which is sold out, and Jay and Bob Get Old, which is almost sold out. There's like 10 tickets left or something.
Wow!
Yeah.
How
so
cool.
the shows that we do down at in Los Angeles at the John Lovitz Podcast Theater every week, those are 2 shows that go up on smodcast.com. Hollywood Babylon's me and Ralph Garman from K-Rock just making fun of the business and stuff. Jay and Bob Get Old is a podcast that I do with Mewes where it's great. If you go listen to the first 6 episodes, tell the story of Mewes battling drug addiction. Sure. And it's, drug addiction's horrible and heroin's bad and we all know this, but there's also a light side to drug addiction, particularly when your friend's as amusing as this guy. So the podcast runs this emotional roller coaster of like you're laughing really hard at something and all of a sudden he takes a right turn and tells you some really hardcore, horrible, real things about his childhood. And you're gripped, going like, "What happened? Is the comedy gone?" And then also the comedy comes back in. It's a really wild ride. Even being in the room, it's even more so.
I'll never forget. We had Jason on right after you got sober, and you were telling us the stories about the lit cigarettes, and you were telling us all these stories, and it was gripping. But then you would say make it light and kind of tell us some good. How are things going right now? Everything's still going good?
Besides losing my voice, things are good, yeah.
Good, man.
How long have you been clean?
It's been like 4:59 or so. 4:59 today.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's huge, man.
He was clean for a long time, and then he fell off the wagon a year and a half ago or something like that. Yeah. And then he got back on, and that's when we started Jay and Bob Get Old, because it kind of functions as a, what do they call it? Where you get in a room and you're like, stop being a drug
addict. Sort of
intervention?
Yes, it's like an ongoing intervention every week where we sit down, he talks about his life, he talks about the problems of old, he talks about the present, and then lots of comedy and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a check-in. It's kind of like therapy for someone who won't sit down for therapy, and the therapy is with 300 people at once. So it's really taken off. We've been doing it for less than a year, man, and boom, it just kind of took off. We've been taking it out on the road and stuff, and so we'll be doing it tomorrow night right down here. I think it's like 11 o'clock or something. You can get tickets at csmod.com, SEESMOD.com.
Cool. Now, before you guys get out of here, I want to just...
You're like, before you get out of here,
well, I know.
The Incredible Hulk's coming.
Yeah.
Insulting me.
It's along those veins. I just want to get your take on these comic movies. And
I saw Cap. I mean, this little imbroglio with Mewes notwithstanding.
Yes.
I thought Chris Evans did a great job.
Okay.
Like, I know, everyone thinks of him as the Human Torch and he cracked wise and stuff.
I asked him about that.
180 degrees. Yeah. Oh, really? He's just like, hey, man, I can do
He said Fantastic Four sucked.
He was talking crap about the Fantastic Four franchise.
Which I give
put him on the map.
That's what I thought, and me as a comic nerd, it wasn't the best out of all of the movies, but I appreciated seeing the movie.
Silver Surfer was cool, and the Thing looked cool. It was definitely. It's not like, oh man, is Dark Knight good? But it was enough in a world where the previous incarnation was that Roger Corman one.
Yeah, he said
he didn't like.
He was out on it, and Captain America is like 1,000 times better than a Fantastic Four.
Well, I mean, honestly, like, I don't know about 1,000 times, but it's definitely the difference between Fantastic Four and Captain America is Captain America is directed by Joe Johnston, who not only directed like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and The Rocketeer and Jumanji, but worked on...
Yeah, when you whisper right in front of the mic, Jason, we can hear it.
I'm surprised it took this long.
I know.
Wow. I'll just tell this kid from Boston.
Alright, we got a dump button right next to me. I get it.
I'm actually surprised it took this long.
Very good.
Good job, Jason. Almost good. That's huge.
We gotta come up with a sign where I can hit the mic on so you can...
We're good.
Yeah.
what was I talking about?
Captain America.
Joe Johnston. Joe Johnston, the director of Captain America, also worked on the Star Wars movies. This is the guy who
Calm down, Eddie. Calm down.
He designed the look of Boba Fett.
Oh my God.
You just blew Eddie's mind.
I'll do you one better.
Tearing up a little bit.
He designed the look of the Snowwalkers, the AT-ATs from Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, like everybody, of course, knows who's the guy that did the concept. Ralph McQuarrie did all the concept drawings. But if you ever look at the Star Wars concept drawings and the actual movies, it's definitely conceptual. Like it doesn't look. It suggests Star Wars. Doesn't look like.
Yeah.
Joe Johnston's job as like a pup. I think he was like in his 1920 age or something like that. Was to take those concept drawings and turn them into real world blueprints and architectural drawings to create the real thing. So there's a book put out years ago with all his designs for every, like he designed the Millennium Falcon,
oh my God,
Boba Fett ship, the TIE Fighter, the X.
I'm in.
And this dude is a legend.
That's huge.
He's been in this business for a long time.
Okay.
But if you look at the Rocketeer, Rocketeer is a wonderful superhero movie from like 20 years ago almost at this point. That movie, very much like Captain America, set in like World War II era and whatnot. Elegant little piece of comic book filmmaking. Same with Captain America. Like this dude crushed it. So he can crush it, but a dude like the dude who did Fantastic Four movies, nice guy, talented dude. But he's only been doing it for a little bit of time.
Right.
This Captain America,
he knows
Johnston. Oh, that's the difference between a dude who's been doing it for like decades and just kind of started.
So real quick, thoughts on Green Lantern?
I didn't see Green Lantern. Yeah, a lot of people were just like
Thor.
I liked it enough. I was shocked by how much I enjoyed a Thor movie.
Me too. I had low expectations.
Yeah, and I didn't care. I was like, this is
pretty good. And I didn't know who the guy was that was playing Thor and all that stuff.
He's the dude who played Kirk's dad in the Star Trek remake. Yeah,
he thought it was really good.
He did a nice job. I went to the Captain America premiere the other night, and he was on the carpet right in front of me, and he is like a big, beautiful man. So I'm a straight man, married, got kids. I see that dude on the carpet. I was like, put your hammer right here. Over here. Yes. I'll hold it for him. Oh, he's a good-looking dude, man. Just handsome as hell. And good, talented actor, too. I thought he was pretty good Thor.
Right on.
So, real quick, I know we have to let you go. You have a million things to do, but is working with Jason like herding cats? Just watching him this morning, he's in and out. He's in and out. He's making faces. He's whispering. He's not talking in the mic. Is that how it's like on your show?
It can be tough to keep him organized and whatnot. But no, on the show, it's a little more like I sit across from him, he sits across from me. There's nowhere for him to
strap him down.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just you two, so there's no.
But also, you can always see his frustration because, as you can hear, I just talk a lot. So he'll come to something like this. He'll say 3 things, and I'm like blah 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 blah, and he's just like, I'm gonna go away about it. So that's kind of what happened. After like we have the dynamic of an old married couple. We've been together over 20 years, and so at that point, you definitely pull him aside and be like, I hate when the fat guy talks. Well, you get a word edgewise. I had things to say, and he's talking about Captain America.
Well, neither of you changed. We love you both just the way you are.
Sure. It was nice. We've been on the phone before, but this is the first time I've been in the studio.
Honestly, it was an honor, man.
You guys
really
did a great job, man.
Thank you.
Enjoy the hell of it. Suck the marrow out of this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a great taste in clothes.
Oh, no.
No high fives.
Right there.
Oh,
Once again, Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes, thank you guys so much.